Hello all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm back with another interesting topic, how to import suppliers using FBDI, that is file-based data interface in Oracle Fusion. So let's see what are the different steps involved in importing the suppliers using FBDI. So the first step is you need to download the FBDI template from the Oracle Cloud website. So I can just show you like the URL. I mean, this is the URL from where you can download the template, or what you can do is, if you do not know the URL, you can just simply go to Google and then just search for Oracle OER documentation. So this is the one which I referred in my PPD, Oracle Enterprise Repository for Oracle Fusion applications. We are interested in the cloud applications and click on this. And then here search for file-based data import for Oracle procurement, because suppliers falls under procurement space. So file-based data import for Oracle procurement, search for that keyword here. Okay, so this is the template, file-based data import for Oracle procurement cloud. So click on this. It takes you to this screen. Click on supplier model. So here you can see there are a couple of different templates: supplier, supplier site, supplier addresses, supplier contacts, supplier site assignments, and so on. So in my current video, I'll focus only on the supplier. As you know, like to create supplier, the first step is first you create your supplier header or supplier shell, and then supplier address, and then supplier site, and then supplier site assignment, supplier contacts, and so on. Okay. So click on import suppliers. So here you have kind of XLSM template, control files, and this is the interface table. So what you need to do is you need to download this particular template. I mean, you can just ignore this control file, just focus only on this particular template. Click on this. Template will be downloaded. So open this. And there is some information with regard to how this particular template works, so which is mentioned here. So you can just go through this. But basically, the template also has some kind of a sample data. So maybe just get rid of everything. Maybe keep one record, and which you can use as your reference. So basically, this is a template wherein you can enter the required supplier information. So there are a lot of fields here. All these fields are not mandatory. So what we can do is hide additional attributes. So wherein we can focus only on the critical fields. So there are hardly some 5 or 6 fields which are required. Again, even we out of these 5 or 6 fields, not each and every field is a mandatory. Batch ID is not required, you can get rid of that. So with regard to import action, we have two values: create or update. So you can use this particular template for creating a new supplier or for updating of an existing supplier. So first we'll start with the create, and I just want to create a supplier. I just want to call it as say ABC ARV Limited. And what kind of organization is that? Is it a corporation or a public sector, and so on? So just leave it as a corporation. Supplier type is supplier. So I just want the business relationship to be spend authorized, because only once the supplier is created as spend authorized, you can start creating a POs, requisitions, or invoices using this particular supplier. Taxpayer country is US, taxpayer ID. So I just want to assign say a dummy taxpayer ID, and payment method is check. So even from your front end UI screens, whenever you try to create supplier shell, that's the header part. Pretty much these are the different fields which you enter. Okay. Save this. So if you follow your steps, the first thing is download FBDI template from Oracle Enterprise Repository, which you have done. prepare the template with the required data, which we did this. And then the next step is convert the template into a CSV format. Now let me do that. Generate a CSV file. So when I click on generate CSV file, it is going to create a zip file as well as the CSV file. So basically, it's both are one and the same. It's basically, if I go and search for those files, I have the CSV file, and when I open the zip file, again I have the same CSV file. So when you are trying to upload into Oracle, then you should be actually using the zip file. So when I open the normal CSV file, it's basically just a file with the data whatever you have entered. Okay. So this is the initial template. This template is converted into a CSV file, and this is the zip file for the CSV file. So that's the third step. And the fourth step is place the CSV file in UCM. Now I'll show you what is UCM and where you need to file. UCM is basically kind of a path where you need to place this particular file. So what you need to do is get into your Fusion Cloud, go to Tools, and there is something called File Import and Export. Click on plus, choose the file, zip file, and under account, so you need to know the path where you need to place the file. So if you go to this OER, it says the path. So this is the path, PRC, procurement, supplier, import. PRC stands for procurement. So you need to place that particular file in this path, PRC, supplier, import. PRC, supplier, import. Okay, the file is placed in the concerned path. Okay, and the next thing is, now we have just placed the file. The next step is to run a program which will read the file and pull the information from the file and place the data into your interface table. So for that, you need to run a program called load interface file for import. So go to your schedule process. Again, it's available under your tools, schedule process, schedule new process. And the name of the program is load interface file for import. Load interface file load interface file for import. Okay, and if you look at the description, it says transfer setup or transaction data files from a user specified location to the interface table. And the import process is, you need to select the import process of import suppliers. That's the name of the process. That's the parameter which you need to select. Import suppliers. And the data file, as we have placed the file in PRC suppliers import, so that file is coming here. So select that file, click on submit. So as I mentioned, this is the step which is actually loading the information into the interface table. Ensure that this particular program is completed successfully. Yeah, these are successfully. And if there are any errors, you can put your cursor here and then check the required log or output file. So So this step is done. Now the next step is import the data from interface into the base tables by running the import suppliers. So basically, look at this. So this is the interface table. And now we are pulling the data from this interface table into this base table. So we need to run a program called import suppliers. That's the name of the program. So import suppliers. Creates and updates suppliers from data in suppliers open interface table. So that's the description of this program. Okay, whether you want to import the new data, yes, you have the options of all new rejected. So it's a new data. Report exceptions only. No, I just want everything to be reported in the output, whether it's a success or failure. So click on submit. Process ID got triggered. Wait for the process ID to be completed. Oh, it's completed in error. Okay, let's see why it's completed in error. Check the PDF. The value is invalid. Test ARV 1, 2, 3. Oh, why is that it's pulling? What is the value which we have entered? ABC ARB limited is R value, but it's trying to pull something, and this is my old test value. I don't know why it is pulling this information. Close this. Let me go to the log file. Let me check. Okay, so this is my CSV file. Let me check the CSV file in my documents. Okay, never mind. I was actually pulling a wrong CSV file. I should be pulling the CSV file from my desktop. Okay, let me try to run the let me try to run the first program. Load interface file for import and import this information. Sorry, I was pulling a wrong file. So load interface file for import. This is pulling the data from file into the interface table, and import process, as I mentioned, it should be import suppliers. Data file. I can do this particular step, or if I do not do this step, I can directly select the new file here. So let me go to the desktop. and select the zip file. Submit. So we have two options. If you want, you can even skip this particular step, and then directly when you are running this particular program, you can browse and pick up the file from your desktop. That's one option. The other option is first do this particular step, and then when you're running this program, when you click on the data file, automatically the file pops up there. Just select the file. Okay. So wait for my program to be completed. Load file to interface, that is completed successfully. Okay. Now let me run the second program, which is import the data from interface into base tables, which is import suppliers. So this pulls the data from supplier open interface table. New, okay. And then submit. Hopefully it should work now. Import suppliers. This is my process ID. Yeah, it succeeded. So this step is completed. Now what we can do is we can search for the supplier and check if the supplier is created. You need to be, I mean, yeah, you can go to your procurement space, or you can directly even click on this and directly go suppliers. Again, here you can directly click on this, click on manage supplier and search for the supplier, or you can even see that particular supplier available here, suppliers with incomplete setup, because we did not enter all the required information. So this is our supplier which we have created. It's been authorized and the source is import, and it is created today. So if I click on this, I just created the supplier with the basic information. Been authorized. So I can see if I open the template, it is the supplier name and corporation, supplier created today, import source, business is spend authorized. If you go to payments, you have the check as a payment. So enter all your required details, your address, sites, and etc. And then you can start using this particular supplier. So this is how you create suppliers using FBDI. Again, I have taken an example of just one supplier, but you can enter your hundreds of suppliers using this particular template. Now I'll show you another scenario wherein if you want to update this particular supplier. So let me update the, I just want to update the supplier name. So this is the new supplier name. So new used for updating the supplier name. So I just want the new supplier name to be ABC ARV Limited 2. This is what I want to update the supplier name. So when I am updating a supplier name, I think for some reason Oracle do not like the business relationship. So I need to take this out. If I leave that, then your input program is erroring out. Okay. So update, again, save this, generate a CSV file. So let me just delete the existing CSV file so that I'll not get confused. Okay. So the only change which I'm doing here is changing the name from ABC ARV Limited to ABC ARV Limited 2. So generate a CSV file. I'll generate this in my desktop. Okay, zip file as well as the CSV file. Again, CSV file is only just for our reference, but whatever we are trying to upload into Oracle is the zip file. So remember, first we download a template. Within the template, you have entered the data and then converted the template into a CSV file or zip file. Okay. Now again, as far as the update is concerned, again, pretty much the same thing. You follow the same steps. We have already converted that into CSV, and as I mentioned, you can even skip this and directly run the load interface file for import program. Go to schedule process. Load interface file for import. Import process should be import suppliers. And then your data file, upload a new file. Select the file, okay, submit. Wait for the program to be completed. And then again, once the program is completed successfully, you need to again run the next job, import suppliers. Load file to interface is succeeded. So succeeded. Now let me run the next process, which is import suppliers. New report exceptions only. No, I want everything. So just say submit. Process ID ending with 353 is submitted. So this is the one, wait for this particular program to be completed. And once this is completed successfully, we can verify if the supplier name is updated. Okay, it's completed. Now let me go to procurement space. Suppliers. And here you can see ABC Limited, ABC ARV Limited 2. So if I search for ABC ARV Limited, I'll not be getting any records because it's already updated to ABC ARV Limited. I'm getting only one record, ABC ARV Limited 2. Okay. So this is how you create or update a supplier. So in EBS, so for any supplier data conversion, you need to do a lot of technical work. But whereas in Fusion Cloud, a functional consultant should be able to convert all these suppliers into Fusion Cloud. That is, you can get the data from your external system and then upload it into Oracle without any technical help. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video. For interesting videos on Oracle financials, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.